I just went through 2 months of a self-imposed guitar nerd prison sentence, homie. I had this moment back in June where all of a sudden I was just so unbelievably self-conscious about my gear and my tone and my playing as a whole. So much so that I stopped making long-form content. I stopped practicing new material as well, and I literally spent every waking moment just learning about gear. Stupid. I wasn't even reading about new gear, dog. I was literally just learning as much as I could about the gear that I have, fiddling knobs every day, and pretending it was practice. And that was relatable as hell for some of you, and you can't deny it. The result of that was no progress of any kind, a shocking decline in my mental health, and this overwhelming feeling of just shit. I'm getting nowhere, homie. My God, my mom was right. I'm a failure. But as much as I regret that 2-month-long purgatory, I gotta say, I've come out the other side, and there's one thing that happened that I will never regret. I got so substantially smarter about the gear that I have, from my Helix to my tube amp to my recording process as a whole. If you go watch Longform 10 months ago, and then you watch this video, the sound difference is night and day. And I've gotten the process so locked in that for the last 3 weeks straight, I haven't touched anything. Not a single knob, nothing. All I've done is play and play and play, and the result is what I'm here to share with you nerds today. Simply put, Audibly Dumb now lives in 8 core sounds with one caveat. And to show off these loud tones of doom and gloom, I'm using this lightweight LP Junior style guitar from Sultanen Guitars in Canada. He literally gave me maple syrup. I love him and you should too. This is the DCJ and it was hand built by Don Sultanen. This P90 was hand wound by him as well. Super hot, super versatile P90. Can't say enough good things about it. And I'm so stoked that he let me borrow it for a few weeks and that I get to share this absolute treat of a guitar with you today. And now that I have shamelessly plugged my new friend Don, here's what I've built over the last 2 months. Most modelers have their version of what line 6 calls snapshots. And as I click around these 8 buttons, you'll notice that a bunch of stuff changes on the top screen instantly. So essentially what is changing as I flip through all of that is everything. I've got 3 different amp models, I've got a reverb and a delay, and as I click through the parameters on all of that, shifts and changes and adjusts, I've got 3 different overdrives, and I've got an EQ block. I'm going to kind of describe it as I go through, but essentially, first tone is a Fender Twin. It's like a black-faced twin, and this is what you get. Now the whole point of this patch is simple, and this is actually the one caveat I was mentioning earlier. It is my version of a clean tone to edge of breakup. So there the volume was rolled back a little bit. With the volume all the way up, right? I think that's a wonderful tone. It's a wonderful edge breakup tone. Roll it back just a little bit. It's a beautiful clean tone. Why is that the caveat? All the other snapshots, I don't play with anything else. I'm not like turning individual foot switches on and off. I'm just clicking one button and douche, it goes right to that core tone of Audibly Dumb. Now, this first one does have an effects loop on the end of it. Reason being, this is set up for other pedals. So analog pedals, other drives, fuzzes, modulations, reverbs, delays, all of those can be put either in the front of this patch or in the back of this snapshot as an effects loop type thing. And this is for pedal demos and showcases, just for having fun when I inevitably invest way too much money into a separate pedal board to go along with the modeler. But yeah, that's home, that's base for me. And there's a Hall reverb there as well. When I click the next button, what happens in an instant, and I have the snapshots trailing one after the other. So essentially, the tones flow into the next snapshot, so it's not just a sudden punch. In an instant, the EQ block turns on. I've got a couple mid-frequencies boosted a bit, just to get a little bit more pick attack, and I've got some volume boosted as well. a Tima, which is an overdrive pedal in the helix, which is mimicking a Timmy, pretty transparent overdrive. Gives me a little more dirt, and also a little volume boost. The reverb increases in decay and increases in mix, and then the delay turns on as well. So the switch between both of them, pretty cool. When you play, it's almost like the lead version of that bass tone. I have the delay so far down in the mix that while I'm playing, you can kind of hear it, but not really. It's just adding depth, and then when I stop, it trails. And what's great is, suppose I'm going from a rhythm to that lead and then back to that first rhythm tone. When I click here, did you hear how everything kept going? I switched snapshots in the middle of that. So the idea is there's none of that jarring, oh, everything just stopped, we're in the new tone. It just does, flows right on through. I love it. So you get this thing of... right? It perfectly seamless. When I click the next snapshot, this is actually really, really dope. The twin amp model shuts off, and I've got a Marshall 2203, I believe that's based on a 100 watt plexi, coming in. And it's not supposed to be this huge, massive distorted tone, but it's definitely more distorted than the twin. The idea is it can still be used for rhythm and like chords as well as single notes. So here's the twin again. Here's the Marshall. It's got more teeth, but the big thing is the twin has more bass. The mids are scooped, there's more bass presence, you can get away with a lot more, I don't really know how to say it. Putting this stuff in words is pretty fucking weird. But like the clean tones are more pristine and glassy, if you will. The Marshall is really trying to hit those mids. Super cool. The same hall reverb when I go over to the Marshall. Again, the parameters of it are adjusting, so that way the reverb is there, it's adding space, but it's not super crazy clouding the sound. Everything is still very defined. Right? I'm going to compare that to the lead tone with the twin. Here's the twin. And then the Marshall. Now that Marshall also has a lead channel. So when I click that, the EQ comes in, and the EQ is once again, it's emphasizing some of the frequencies for pick attack. The delay turns on, the reverb gets a little thicker. But then instead of the Timmy coming on, the tube driver comes on, and I actually have the bass boosted on that a little bit. And it's because I found, fuck, this video's nerdy. Anybody still watching, hope you're digging the hang. I love this. I love everything about it. The Marshall, when I added in the drive, it sounded very thin in a mix. Put in some bass, and boom, everything was fixed. So here's the difference. We're going to play the Marshall by itself. And we add everything else in. This is why I haven't touched it. In 3 weeks, I haven't touched any of these. And it's just because on the Marshall rhythm side, you can still like play, like even if it's just a bluesy thing. It's like a crunchy rhythm, and then that lead kind of goes for the throat. Love it. The next two snapshots, this is high gain. So this is like Marshall 2203 lead. When I switch to the next snapshot, Marshall turns off, the archetype amp turns on, which is a high gain PRS archon kind of thing. Still has delay, still has reverb. And then the EQ is also really emphasizing the mids for pick attack. I'll switch back and forth, Marshall to the archetype. Love it. And this next snapshot is that archetype. Delay is off, and I'm adding in a tube screamer. The whole point here is to really tighten everything up, and this is for, I can kind of get some chugs going on, and it's also for note definition in big chords. Play a big chord like that, that's an E minor, and then I'm adding this F sharp. When you're playing a chord like that, I want to hear every note, very modern sounding. Right? Super sick. So the idea is little less gain. Believe it or not, the lead side has a little less gain. And if I was playing single notes, right? If I wanted to then play that with chords, I would switch to this bottom channel, no delay. Sounds, I don't know. You can let me know in the comments what you think of all of that. I personally am smitten by it. And the last two snapshots are for my ambient tones, man. So far, we've covered so much ground. Think about this. I'm using a single pickup guitar. The tone knob's maxed out. For the most part, the volume knob is maxed out. If I started playing with the knobs, if I had more than one pickup, the tonal possibilities are endless, and I'm not menu diving. I'm not switching between, pages and all of that. It's all right here. Now, this ambient tone is one of my favorite things that has ever existed, except for Fresco, of course. And here's what happens. Clean sound. When I switch to the next snapshot, the reverb gets way thicker and the delay comes in. In all the other snapshots, except for the two ambient ones, the delay is a 335 millisecond for the lead channels. For the ambient stuff, it's 420. It's just separated a little bit longer. And because I faded in, we can switch from the clean snapshot to the ambient or any of the other ones. And once again, it's not super sudden. Everything flows from one to the other. Excuse all the mistakes, I'm just kind of riffing here. But, yeah, absolutely wonderful. And then that last snapshot is literally that exact same patch, but it's adding on the tube driver for a little bit of a dirty ambient tone. So once again, these are the tones for Audibly Dumb. Those 8 core sounds that you just heard is what it is going to be, regardless of what I'm doing. This is my personality and myself as a musician, as a person, as a giant-ass nerd. That right there is going to be the 8 sounds that you hear. I would love any opinions that you have in the comments. I'm not changing anything regardless. I spent way too much time working on it. But I have a ton of content that I'm working on. I have a ton of things to share with you guys. And I'm so excited to finally get to work and hopefully give you an experience that is worth watching. My name is Zach. This has been Audibly Dumb. Thank you so much for watching. Come back next week where I play guitar with Les Paul and Mary Ford in black and white.